All right, there they are. Maybe. I don't know what happened there. I honestly, I'm wondering if the hack server went down because I couldn't even download the PowerPoint.
Oh, yeah. You like when you were talking, it was freezing for a couple minutes and then it would come back.
Oh.
Yeah.
My mother just tried to tell me it was psychosomatic. I'm like, really? It's not either. And I mean, and I'm here going, don't have time for this. We don't have time for this. And I said, no wonder we're always behind.
Does your computer, like, does it tell you that it needs updated? Because I know when I logged into like the hack portal to go and take my exam,
Yeah.
It was running really slow and my computer actually had to update.
I can look, but it hasn't told me I needed an update.
I had to restart my entire computer and then everything went smoothly. So I wonder if it's that too.
Okay. All right, well, let's continue forward. We'll see what I do. I need to think about what to do. Let's see. Oh, see, I still can't download it. Shoot, really?
Oh.
I have mine up. Do you want me to share my screen and then just scroll when you're ready to scroll?
Let me see if I can't make it come up.
Yeah, I was just trying to do that to follow along and I couldn't do it.
Is it not downloading it, Kevin?
No, it wouldn't do it for me just a couple minutes ago. I thought it was my computer.
I'm really blaming this on hack, I think. It's important to know who to blame.
Yeah, I tried to load the PowerPoint and mine says unexpected server response.
That's what I just got.
I always pull mine up before we start class.
Well, I had it and then it died. All right, we're gonna try something. When I go in, just open a new window. Really? No, it can open. Now it's telling me the hack can't open. There? Okay, I think you're there. Can you hear me? Caitlin, can you hear me? Okay. Mother, you're not helping. She says they don't want to hear you.
Well, this is
What? Mother, shh.
One PowerPoint for histology.
What? I only heard the latter part of that.
So what's going on with your PowerPoint where it says like unexpected error? I had the same exact problem for one of Bacon's histology PowerPoints. It would not let me open it. And I needed it for the exam.
Oh. All right, let's see. Oh, you seriously stink. Sorry, I'm talking to my computer. Just
actually have the PowerPoint like downloaded to my computer. Do you want me to try and email you that to see if it'll open that way?
You can try to do it. Let's see what happens. Try to do it.
Let's see.
What if somebody else just shares it and then you just say turn the page?
What is that?
That would just, it's just gonna take a long time to do that.
Let me see. Hold on.
And because it's a big file, you may not be able to email it anyway. Or,
Okay, I just sent it over.
okay.
See if that works.
Hopefully this will open the right email. Let's see. Yep, okay. Maybe. Oh, you know what? I don't think I can work with Google Drive. Let's see if I can.
Yeah, because it was so big, that's the only way it let me send it.
I
Send it.
understand. I was surprised that you were able to send it. Because I don't have a Google Drive. I don't think so. Maybe. No, it's going to tell me it's invalid. Oh, no. Let's see. Let's see. Welcome to your new account. Yay. Okay. I'll request access. Darn it. Okay. You know what? My mom's like, you're having way too much fun in there. See, Caitlin, see if it asks you to request access. See if I sent you an email saying I need access.
You should be good.
Well, let me try it again.
See if it'll let you do it. Why is it? Okay.
Access denied.
Open share settings.
Professor Geller, refresh your email. It said you'll get an email if it's.
I'll refresh my email. Okay. I have to remember how to refresh the email.
It's the little circle up where your URL thing is. It's the little circle with the arrow. Keep going up. Nope. Over to your left side. Well, my left side. Keep going over. Nope, the other way. Keep going. It'll refresh the whole thing. It's a little circle by the front and back arrow.
Where? I see Teams call.
No, where like the URL is, where it says Office at Outlook. There's a little half circle with an arrow. Go upwards. Keep going up. Up.
Oh,
Right there.
Got it. You know what? I know I've seen that before. I can't. Let's see here. Nope.
Why is it not? Hmm.
Okay. I think you know what, if I thought that I could just explain everything from here on out till the end of the chapter, I would, but I know that I can't. Oh, you know what? Let's try something else. Let me try something else. If you have access to it, let me see if I can't make one of my other course sites come up. See if it's just our course site that's down, which I'm guessing it's not, but let's just see what happens.
Oh shit. I'm sorry for the cussing. I figured out how to share it.
Oh, that was really funny, but I'm not gonna say it. All right. My
Now
mom,
you go back.
my mom's gonna be in here with the soap, but that was funny. That was really funny. Thank you. I needed that. That was really funny. Oh, see, look, there it is. It's on this side, but it's not on that side.
Oh Lord have mercy.
All right, that was really funny. My mother's like, Mary quit enjoyed it so much. All right, that was really funny. And you guys, I'm gonna continue on until 12:45. You can see this site, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to continue on until 12:45, and then I'm going to record the rest of chapter 7 because we have to finish. We needed to come close to finishing this chapter today, and we're not as close as I need us to be. And so I'm going to finish recording it, and we will start chapter 12 next Thursday. Actually, we'll almost finish it. Let's just keep going for right now. Let me see what happens. Let me think whether or not I'll put up a recording or not. So bones continue to grow in diameter and thickness with appositional growth. So this meaning growth to the width of the bone. It occurs similar to intramembranous ossification, where the chondrocytes are becoming osteoblasts. So here the chondrocytes are continually becoming osteoblasts, and they're moving around this to form these ridges. If you remember, one of the major things that periosteum is made out of is irregular connective tissue. And a lot of that is cartilage. So the osteoblasts in the periosteum are depositing osteoid tissue, which then becomes trapped as osteocytes. The new bone is formed on the surface of old bone. And the result is that there's increased numbers of circumferential lamellae. Remember, those are the lamellae on the outside and the inside. Also, the marrow cavity is being widened by reabsorption, meaning the breakdown of bone, by osteoclasts at the endosteum, meaning the inner layers. So bone remodeling is this ongoing replacement of older bone tissue by new bone tissue that occurs throughout adulthood. Osteoclasts are removing minerals and collagen fibers from the bone, while osteoblasts are adding minerals and collagen fibers to the bone. 10% of the skeleton is replaced yearly. Bone remodeling repairs micro fractures, releases minerals into the blood, and reshapes bones in response to use and disuse. One very important law for bone remodeling is Wolff's law of bone, which says that the bone architecture is determined by the amount of mechanical stress put on it. There's a complementarity here between form and function. So if you have a compressional force on the bone, like weight bearing exercise, this compressional force on the bone gets a greater compressional force on the inside curvature of the bone, which produces a weak electrical current that stimulates osteoblasts. Osteoblasts start to add new bone to the inner surface while the outer bone on the outer curve is removed. And over time, the bone is deposited on the inner side while it's removed from the outer side. And the result is that the bone is a stronger bone matched to the compressional force. This has been observed because trabeculae in the inner surface lie along the stress lines. They run parallel with the stress lines. There's a fine balance of collaboration between osteoclasts and osteoblasts. So the architecture of bone is determined by the mechanical stresses put on it. Bony processes grow larger in response to mechanical stress. They occur in weight-bearing movement and exercise. So this is why your calcaneus, your muscle that forms your heel, is the strongest bone in your body. What? Say it one more time, Mom. The bone, not the muscle. I said muscle. Shoot. The bone that forms your heel is your calcaneus. It is the strongest bone in your body. Because if you think about how much mechanical stress is put on that bone that forms your heel, it's the strongest bone in your body. So this remodeling is a collaborative effort with the precise action of osteoclasts and osteoblasts. The tension and compression cycles are constantly creating an electrical potential that stimulates bone deposition and increased bone density at points of stress. This is why infants and toddlers have relatively smooth bones. If you, in lab, you probably talked about boning, you talked about the different structures and bony markings. The tubercles and the trochanters, many of them are not seen on infants and toddlers. Because as their muscles develop and as they develop more movement, more structure, being able to move and be more flexible and so forth, their muscles put pressure on the bones that have to respond by forming these protuberances and projections. So the greater trochanter, I don't have one femur, but I just have a skeleton here. So the greater trochanter of the femur initially isn't until the baby starts to walk and starts to stand upright is not a rough, tough bump like this or a big bump like this. It's smooth until the muscle starts to pull on it. And then it enlarges through appositional growth. Another example is your external occipital protuberance here. It only starts to form, initially the baby's skull is smooth back here. As a baby starts to hold up their head and the muscles in their back are pulling on this part of the skull, then the external occipital protuberance here starts to form because of the tension being placed on the bone. I know what our class is over. I'll tell you a really, really quick story. If you want, if you need to end the meeting, go ahead. I have a really good friend who was born with what's called a Chiari malformation, which means that her foramen magnum was too big. And it is still too big. This hole right here means a really big hole, foramen magnum. And she was born in quite the difficult household. She grew up oftentimes in a meth house. And so her mother was not very in tune a lot of times. And the only thing that she can say about my friend is that it took her a really, really long time to hold her head up. It took her a really long time to sit up. It took her a really long time to start standing upright. A Chiari malformation is when this hole is too large and there's a narrowing of the back of the skull. And she actually, and a lot of times, most people get it repaired because eventually it can cause severe migraines and brain damage. This good friend of mine is now about 34, and she only got this diagnosed probably a couple of years ago, about 10 years ago, maybe less than that. And she actually has sustained brain damage from it because she has pseudo-schizophrenic tendencies, which means that she's not schizophrenic, but she sees things that aren't there. And when we talk about the brain, we'll talk about how your visual center is in the occipital lobe back here. And so what's occurred is that she has sustained, because of the narrowing of the skull back there, I'm guessing she sustained brain damage in her occipital lobe. Well, how would you know how, if her mother had been more in tune, a child not being able to hold up their head for so long would have a lot to do with the formation of their occipital bone. If the muscles can't pull on this little nodule here, they're not going to be able to hold up their head. Because the muscles of the back come up and they click on this to hold it up. And so if she's not able to hold up her head, like normal babies start doing it like 2 to 3 to 4 months, that's a pretty good indicator that there's something wrong with that occipital bone. And this friend of mine is pretty amazing. I'll just say she's amazing. I'm a little biased but she's amazing. I know that at one point she actually had a garage door was closed. What she accidentally got a garage door dropped on the back of her head when her husband accidentally, her ex-husband now, but he accidentally closed it on the back of her skull. And with her Chiari malformation, that easily could have killed her. But she deals with a lot of issues from that Chiari malformation. She struggles with seizures from exercising too hard because of, and I think it's based on the circulation of the blood flow around her brain and the cerebral spinal fluid. But the whole reason I brought that up is because if the muscles aren't being able to attach back here correctly, yes, it's going to take you a really long time to learn to hold your head up. Any questions?
No, that was really interesting though.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. If you scroll down to the end of the chapter 7, you'll see a very interesting X-ray. I'll explain it next Tuesday. It's my X-ray. I'll just say really briefly, the reason it looks as amazing as it does, my mother says Terminator mouth. I have an exceptional amount of metal in my mouth because I was born with a cleft lip and palate. And when I was 12 or 13, they went in and put a bone graft in the top of my mouth to support my teeth. With a cleft lip and palate, it means that your palate essentially fails to form because your maxillas do not, the two maxilla bones do not close. They don't meet here, they stay open. And so they went and they put a major piece of bone in the top of my mouth. And so I have little chains in the top of my mouth that support that graft. And then when I was 27 years old, approximately 20 years ago, tells you how old I am. I was in a car accident and I broke my lower jaw in 4 places. And if you look at that X-ray, you'll see that there's a plate that runs across my chin. And when we meet next Tuesday, I'll explain more about how that X-ray, why it looks the way it does. But it's my panoramic, my most recent panoramic. But you guys have a wonderful weekend, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you decide that the lecture, like you're going to record it, can you just send out an email?
I will, of course I
Okay.
will. Of course I
Okay.
will. I probably will not. I think I'm just going to keep going. We
Okay.
may skip the special census. It's actually, I've been told when I do the special census chapter, which is towards the very end, to just focus on one area and do the one area.
Okay.
And it doesn't take very long. And so I just want to see how quickly we can go for the most.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Claire, are you there?